Welcome back. So we're going to have an extra topic number 8, where I will talk about 3 articles of the Code of Professional Ethics for Immigration Consultants. A little bit of special articles at the end of the code, and it's going to be Article 12, Article 13, and Article 14. I think it's quite important for immigration consultants to know about them. So let's take a look. Article 12 talks about advertising and promotion of services. In any advertising, that's Article 12, in any advertising or other promotion on behalf of a member or of a firm in which a member has any interest, the member shall ensure that the member's name, as registered with ICCRC, is prominently displayed at or near the beginning of the advertising or promotion. This mandatory identification applies regardless of whether the medium used is print, radio, television, or the internet, and for greater certainty includes business cards, websites, and social media. So keep that in mind in your advertisement everywhere that you do in foreign countries or in Canada. You have to make sure that you respect Article 12 regarding mandatory identification. Section or Article 12.2, a member may use endorsements and testimonials in the member's advertising and promotion, provided that any such endorsement or testimonial, 1, has actually been given by a client or former client, 2, is true and accurate, and 3, has been reviewed and approved in writing for public use by the client or former client. So you can't use actors to give you testimonials. It needs to be true, real clients or real former clients in order to respect the Article 12 of the Code of Professional Ethics. Once again, this ICCRC Code of Professional Ethics can be found on the website of ICCRC. 12.3 of the code, a member shall use the ICCRC designation and the ICCRC's logo only as may be permitted by an ICCRC policy or regulation and only in compliance with Clause 12.1. So you can't have these logos or these designations of ICCRC to suggest that you are endorsed by ICCRC. And I think that's the point of Article 12, to make sure that a client may not be confused as if you are endorsed by ICCRC or you're working for ICCRC. So before you advertise in any medium, make sure that your advertisement respects the provisions of Article 12. Article 13, errors and omissions. 13.1, every member shall maintain errors and omissions insurance of no less than the minimum amount required by the ICCRC from time to time. So beginning of each year, ICCRC has a minimum. Make sure you have this and make sure you have your liability insurance in line. If not, you are violating Article 13 of the Code of Professional Ethics. 13.21, if a member discovers that he or she has done something or failed to do something that is or may be damaging to a client and that cannot be corrected readily, the member, the immigration consultant, shall do 5 things. Number 1, promptly and fully inform the client of what was done or not done without admitting or characterizing this as an error or omission. For obvious insurance reasons, liability reasons, you have to inform the client of the facts. However, you must do so without admitting or characterizing this as an error or omission. 2, promptly recommend that the client obtain a lawyer's advice concerning any rights the client may have arising from the member's action or inaction. So the client has the right to have independent advice, and you must communicate that right to the client at that point. But remember, you must not at this point admit anything regarding a potential error or omission. 3, promptly and fully inform his or her errors and omissions to the insurance provider. Goes without saying, the insurance provider should be one of the first persons you talk to after you believe that an error or omission may have occurred in a file. 4. Promptly and fully inform the ICCRC that the errors and omissions insurance provider has been informed. So ICCRC wants to make sure that it's been done. So that's one of your obligations, one of your ethical obligations in case of error and omissions, to also inform ICCRC that the insurance provider has been notified. Number 5, decide in accordance with Article 11 whether the member should continue to represent the client. So would that be a case of withdrawal? So this is something that you have to determine at that point with your best judgment. Can you still act in the file, or would you be, would it be better for the client for you to withdraw? And remember, your duty of loyalty here. The interest that should be paramount here is the interest of the client, not your own interest. So you have to keep that in mind when you make that decision to withdraw or not when a potential error or potential omission has occurred. Article 14. Maintenance of contact information. A member shall immediately notify the ICCRC and clients of any changes in contact information, including business address, telephone, fax if available, and email address. This is especially important in immigration law because we often deal with people in foreign countries. We often deal with immigration authorities in foreign countries, like embassies or consulates or things like that. So it's quite important that all these people, ICCRC, the clients, and the embassies and consulates around the world where you have files when you represent clients, are informed if you have different contact particulars. So make sure that all these entities are well informed of your contact particulars and changes thereof. 14.2, a member shall reply promptly to any communication from the ICCRC. So it's quite logical. When you get a request from ICCRC as an immigration consultant, you have to respond as quickly as possible, and that is part of your ethical obligations. Restriction on communicating with a complainant. A member shall not communicate directly or indirectly with a person who has made a complaint to the ICCRC about that member or with the superior of such person without the prior written consent of the ICCRC, and then only in compliance with the terms of such consents. I think it's easy to see why ICCRC wants to do this. If there's a complaint against you, they don't want you to communicate with the client. They want the process to remain independent. And if you're going to communicate with the client who made a complaint against you, you need the written consent of ICCRC. And finally, Article 15, additional responsibility of members practicing in the province of Quebec. As we mentioned throughout this webinar, there are special, Quebec has a special program and a special immigration system. So you have to make sure that you are aware of these provisions. So Article 15 of the Code of Professional Ethics talks about some of these. So 15.1, a member practicing in the province of Quebec having any dealings with the government of Quebec on immigration-related matters shall adhere to an act respecting to immigration in Quebec, including French language requirements and knowledge of relevant Quebec law. So 15.1 is directly related to Section 91 of IRPA. If you do remember, Section 91 talked to us about who can represent clients, and there are subsections in there dealing with the Quebec-related programs, Quebec-related laws. So Article 15 reminds immigration consultants that you have to comply with Section 91. So in order to do files with Quebec programs or related to Quebec immigration, you must be a registered agent in a registered immigration consultant in Quebec. An immigration consultant practicing in the province of Quebec who does not adhere to the Act respecting immigration to Quebec shall, in any federal proceeding where a Quebec immigration matter arises, direct clients to seek advice and or representation about Quebec legislation and programs from another member or member of a designated legal regulatory body. So basically, if you are not if you don't have the right to present clients with Quebec-related programs, you have to direct the client to a lawyer or an immigration consultant that can. So that completes a little bit our topic. Number 8 was a little bit of a potpourri of articles 12, 13, 14, and 15 that immigration consultants have to follow to respect their ethical obligation. So that completes topic 8, and I will be back in a few seconds with the conclusion of this webinar.